like to start out by having you guys talk a little about the collaborative process and how that has worked with bringing these new Infinity products to life.
Well, as we've talked about before, it's we've kind of tried to stress that this is a collaboration rather than a sponsorship in the sense, and I think one of the distinctions for me, I just realized kind of as we were talking it out that there was no product before we started, when we started this discussion. There was nothing. So it wasn't like, hey guys, we're putting out a speaker, we want you to slap your name on it or whatever. There was a conversation, well, what should we make together? And that, from the beginning, I think that's very different from what most people think of when they see an artist, working with a brand.
When it comes to technology, what role has that played with you guys as you create your music?
Well, when we create music, we're actually a band that's very focused on the technology aspect of it and the sound quality. When we're making a record, when we're figuring out sounds to put with the drum kit, electronic sounds, everything that is such a huge component of our music, there's a lot of effort and time and really a lot of time spent getting into the details of making that really special and making us really happy with the product and the music that we're making. So to be able to partner with such an amazing company in Harman and the Infinity brand to help us realize that goal and actually making something in the studio that actually translates outside of the studio to the fan that's listening to music makes this partnership so exciting for us.
Can you talk a little about the actual products that people will be able to purchase down the road?
Yeah, it's been a few years now since we've launched some new products from an Infinity perspective, but most recently we've come out with a reference series, a new loudspeaker series. We've also come out with this new portable product. So there's a lot of other stuff that's in the pipeline, and honestly, this is just the beginning of it. To go back to your earlier question about just the collaboration process and what it's like, we're being very genuine. The first time we all sat down, to Mike's point, it wasn't just, here's a speaker and we want to put the Linkin Park name on it. It was like, what are we trying to create here? And then as that process went along, it was everything from the design aesthetic to the materials and the look and the feel, etc. So, it really is a unique partnership that we have. But there's a lot of new products that are going to be coming out in the next 6, 9, 12 months.
Can you talk a little about, we've been talking about the positives with technology, but can we talk about the documentary you guys are working on and also the negative aspects to new technology?
Yeah, the folks at Harman kind of spearheaded this idea of putting together a documentary about the distortion of sound, the degradation of sound, things like streaming and whatnot that allow us to experience music in a lot of ways and especially in a lot of places that we hadn't been able to experience it before, to just carry it around with us. But at the same time that portability comes with a price. You've got kind of lower grade streams happening and lower grade audio files, and they get compressed and distorted and so on. And take that information and put in perspective with the fact that when a band is recording an album, when an artist is recording an album, any tiny little detail like a fraction of a dB, a fraction of a decibel, might make a big difference to you when you're finishing a song. We may try out 10 different guitars. We may try out 10 different drum kits. We may switch a hi-hat out, dozens of times just because we keep playing it and going like, that one doesn't work, that one doesn't work. And we change different pieces of the equipment that we use to record it. And after all of that work is said and done, to play it through, a low-grade stereo or speaker rather, if you're a big fan of that artist, you're doing yourself a disservice, really. Because you're not experiencing what I experienced when I wrote it. I want you to have the same experience I did.
Yeah, just to build on that, these guys are artists, they're musicians, and they're passionate about making music. And what I think is really cool is, as a company, we're passionate about making music listenable to and hearable the way that they intended it to be heard. And there are a lot of unintended consequences in terms of what music sounds like now because of the way technology has evolved. But there are technologies that are evolving now. Some of them are Harman technologies, which restore, exactly what these guys, the blood, sweat, and tears that they put into the music and the creation aspect. There's ways that we can help bring that back from a consumer perspective and from an experience perspective. So.